Hi, everybody. I'm Thomas Lamb, CEO of Myriad Uranium Corp. We are exploring for uranium in Wyoming. In fact, really, it's almost a development stage project we've got. It's called Copper Mountain. Union Pacific Railway had a uranium subsidiary called Rocky Mountain. In the 1970s, they spent 117 million Canadian in today's dollars drilling 2,000 boreholes. They estimated resources of 15 to 30 million pounds. And potential of over 65 million pounds. It's almost akin to a resource exploration target, you might call it. Yeah. So it's an exciting project.
It's an exciting project. I'm always excited to speak to you, Tom. Right, you're off on one of those road trips. I can tell by the color of the curtains.
Sorry about the curtains. Yeah, it's the best. Unfortunately, it's the best background I could find in this room. So
well done. Right, okay.
Yeah.
I think we understand the hypothesis that you have got, right? You've got this historic data, but that's going to require drilling and validation of that data. So I'm interested in that validation process that you're going through. Can you talk to that and how you go about that validation? Are you twinning holes? Are you stepping out? How do you do it?
So it's a combination. We are not supposed to talk about it being true twinning because of the way, the data we have. We have cross sections. We do have the coordinates of the holes and the azimuths, et cetera. But we are doing some near twinning, within several meters. But we are stepping out too. So when people see these holes that aren't as hot, for example, as our hole 6, recent hole 6, we can't drill everything right into the same spots. So we are stepping out a bit. We want to understand the boundaries. We want to understand what's going on at depth. We are drilling at different angles so we can understand the structure. So we're doing a combination of, there's some twinning, there's validating. We have grade shells that we've developed based on the historic data. We want to validate those, and then we want to step out a little bit from those and understand what's around. Get the best idea we can. So it's a combination.
Okay, and can we look at the actual deposit itself and remind us,
Sure.
what it is that you think you've got, and what that structure is telling you at the moment, and what more do you need to do to understand it better?
So just a reminder to everybody, we are right in the center of Wyoming, near a town called Riverton. We're actually adjacent to a little town called Shoshone. There are mountains there, the Copper Mountain, Owl Creek Mountains, but Copper Mountain. The mountains there are very granite rich, 50 ppm, which is a very high grade of granite, grade of granite. That's been affected by meteoric waters, snow, rain, et cetera, over millions and millions of years. And just below the mountains are some sort of rolling hills, almost the foothills. That is where we're focused. That is fractured granite. That has got a lot of uranium in it. And that is, so that's where we're drilling. That's where Union Pacific had planned a large scale uranium mine in the late 1970s. That band across just where the mountains kind of reach the beautiful rolling hills, Union estimated 15 to 30 million pounds in this fractured granite. And there were going to be a number of pits according to their mine plan. But if you go a little bit further south, in our case south, away from the mountains, the nature of everything transitions to sandstone, and so you have other types of mineralization. Also, there's some layers there that are not necessarily fractured granite. There's conglomerate and sandstone, boulders all mixed together, uranium-coated boulders. So if you take it all, so you have the sort of the band closest to the mountains, that's 15 to 30 million pounds that Union was going to turn into a 6-pit mine to fuel the Edison reactors planned for California. A little bit south of that, and then also in other layers, you've got other deposit types that have a lot of uranium, prospects that have a lot of uranium, according to Union Pacific. The Arrowhead mine in the center of our project area produced 500,000 pounds at 0.15%. A little bit south of our main project area, but we own it, the Bonanza mine, 780,000 pounds at 1.3%. So these are not strictly fractured granite deposit types. And then you have other prospects too. So just to reiterate, Bonanza mine, 780,000 pounds at 1.3%. That's, that's very interesting, right? This union was going to get there. They were going to get further south. Neutron energy came in the 20 years ago, and they had sort of a band south of that. And, if you put it all together, there's a lot going on. 15 to 30 million pounds estimated resource, potential over 65 million pounds, according to Union Pacific, known deposits and prospects. And according to Neutron Energy, 15, 20 years ago when they did a data review, potential of several hundred million pounds at Copper Mountain, according to Neutron Energy, which is now Encore. So that's a summary of what we're looking at here. Big potential.
Big potential. Okay, when I talk to some of the other kind of Wyoming-based uranium explorers, they're talking about 5 to 10 million pounds is enough to get into some kind of economic production. Obviously we're sitting here at kind of early 80s, $80 on per pound uranium spot price at the moment. Should it move forward, obviously those economics change for the better. But they're starting with smaller numbers, so you've got a sense of what. And if you look at the UR Energy or the Encores of this world, and what they started with, you've got a kind of a range there of saying, well, look, these companies have gone early to prove they can produce, they can get into market, get contracts, show route to market, all of that kind of good stuff. You guys have got to have a view on a game plan, a business plan, a strategy for what you want to do here in the context of what you know today and how you go about drilling out to those validation holes. So what does that look like?
So yeah, I didn't really answer your question about about the validating head on. If we want to prove up all those resources, we need to do a lot more drilling. We do have historic data that'll take us part way, but we don't have the historic data we want over the whole project area. Okay, in fact, that's point number one. So it's going to take more drilling. What we've decided to do initially is to validate the historic data first. That gives us confidence over the data across the project. We already knew that Union had the best experts available at the time. They did very high quality work, robust, et cetera. So we had high confidence. But what we've done with this first program is we validated their work in this specific area, the northern part of the main pit that they had planned. So how much more work do we have to do to, for example, get the initial resource, an inferred resource possibly up indicated? I am a bit coy about that because our technical folks, geologists, resource estimating folks say, don't talk about that. Don't make any promises. Let's wait and see. So we're going to have the drilling. We've just completed 34 holes. We're going to be reviewing it over the next few months. So I'll be able to speak to how close are we to an initial resource and what else, if we're not there, what more needs to be done. But we're extremely pleased that we've validated the historic work. And I want to emphatically say we've gone beyond it. Union did very conservative. They were very conservative with their work for very good reasons. It's internal. It's not a public company trying to, they wanted to take a conservative approach. The historic cross sections we have, about half of them give grade ranges instead of exact grade information at intervals at every 3 feet or something like that. They gave grade ranges 1,000 to 2,500 ppm, and then 2,500 ppm and over. Some of the areas where we drilled expecting 2,500, 3,000 ppm, we got up to 8,000 ppm, et cetera. So even better. So validated, got great results, gone beyond what we expected. Are we going to have a resource? Not sure yet. More work needs to be done. Bottom line is, though, a lot more drilling needs to happen to get these historic resources current, and then go beyond them to try to get to 65 million plus.
Right. Okay. All I'm trying to do is get a sense of how you're playing this, because there's lots of uranium stories out there. And like I said, I've spoken to a few in the Wyoming space specifically where you guys are. And some people seem to have a better idea of how to move these things forward, and some are hoping desperately that someone will come along and roll them up and take them out. Right. That's where we're at. I think for some retail investors, which is kind of probably the level that you're at, that's not exactly encouraging, right?
Yeah, you've nailed the key question. We're strategizing about this internally. We're thinking carefully about it. We do not want to raise vast amounts of money, dilute, and blow the money off by just doing drilling that's not going to really be value add. So on the other hand, we have to do the right work, targeted work in the right places, validate the historic results, get new exciting results that take us beyond where Union was able to go, and do things. I don't want to call it piecemeal, but we have 7 uranium deposits. A few of them are quite big, and others are very interesting, and prospects. So Union, one of our prospects, Midnight, Union thought has 10 million pounds in it, and that's right up against our project area. We own that. What's at the Bonanza mine? Knob. They put some holes in there. They found quite a bit of uranium at 0.15, 500,000 pound base, they figure, and then with a lot of expansion potential. That's part of our project area. So we're gonna validate and check these areas too, and a number of others. But we're gonna do things in a targeted way so that we don't. We want to optimize to get everybody the biggest ROI for their investment money. That's what's up. Yeah.
But you're not sort of sitting back waiting to kind of check out. This is you're trying to deliver a growth story and work out, I guess, some systematic process with regards to the targets.
Yeah.
To see if this thing can either individually, some of these things can stand alone, or how you work them as a kind of satellite operation. Okay. So that's what I'd be buying into. Right?
We're neither going to sit back, nor are we going to rush headlong into proving something up in a inefficient way. So
right,
yeah,
okay. But you seem to raise money as small tranches as well. So you're not rushing to kind of blow the share register up at all. I get it. This recent raise, what's that specifically going to use for?
So we always want to be in a strong cash position anyway. Kind of a minimum balance, so we're never vulnerable. Although we're extremely optimistic about what the next 6 months of the uranium sector. Of course, we've all seen you can never be exactly sure. So we want to keep a nice minimum balance. We have, obviously, internally, we know more than anybody. So we want to leverage everything we've learned, and we have an aggressive staking program underway. I've spoken about it, so people know about that. So we're expanding our footprint, and lots of interesting things. This is a result of our drilling, insights from our drilling, and also from our ongoing sort of data exploration of historic data and new data we're getting. So there's spending on that. Potentially we'll do a large scale radiometric, maybe with MAG, geophysics program. Sooner or later we'll be doing that. And we have some other very good uses for the money. So
okay. And talking of new data, right? I mean, when we first started talking about this, way back when, it was just a bunch of pieces of maps and paper strewn all around Wyoming. I'm exaggerating, but it's not far off, right? Where you kind of met some folks who were connected with the operations back then. You've been meeting some more of those guys. They're coming out of the woodwork now.
Yeah, we're getting more data, and it's great. And actually, I hadn't realized where the software, how good the software has gotten right now, where you can import the data, whether it's maps and drill data, et cetera, and the software just can inhale it and put it all together, of course, in layers, et cetera. We're doing that, and now what we're able to see from all this, we've met new people, we've acquired additional data. We now understand the data we had originally much better, just even the last few months. So this is all growing, and everything. It's kind of is that a parabola? Yeah. So things our understanding is growing by leaps and bounds. And that's we're leveraging.
Okay, so this okay, so that's back to the kind of validation, new data sets and stuff. Because right from the beginning, that's what I've needed to believe would happen with this project. You're making those baby steps to do all of that deliverable, right? That's informing the exploration strategy. In terms of, have you got a kind of hierarchy or a preference as to how you go about the drilling? Is there a drill model? Is there a drill plan? How are you targeting?
Okay, well, I'll mention that. So we've done this initial drilling, 34 holes. That's small scale. We are currently applying for something called a plan of operations. It's basically a big permit,
Mhm.
a really ambitious plan with it'll permit a lot of holes for next spring, summer, and fall.
Okay.
We have sort of three categories: priority one, priority two, priority three zones and ideas, and we're working our way down them in terms of allocating resources and time and energy.
I can't tell us. Can you tell us what can you tell us about next year though?
Yeah, so we have some high grade. We've been drilling in a high grade area of the Canning deposit. There are a number of other high grade areas at Copper Mountain, so we want to validate those, drill those too. So far, things have gone really well. We want to continue with that. We want to understand the continuity of mineralization, maybe sort of some new ideas that we have some good confidence in about the northern part of the project area. Then there are the high priority targets that Union was never quite able to advance. We're going to go to those high grades. Lots of mineralization. We're going to go there too. Also, we are expanding our project area to encompass some exciting things. We're going to prioritize confirming those. I don't know how much more detail to get into regarding this.
Well, what you're allowed to. I know. Well, let's
I know,
jump.
exactly.
Let's
I'd
step
love to
back
say
a
so
bit.
much more, but
So
I'm not sure I can.
No,
Yeah.
I know. The exchange is a delight to work with.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the kind of that you mentioned the premise that in terms of that regulatory environmental compliance type stuff in Wyoming. I know it's a big kind of mining state, etc. I know there's lots of other uranium, so that they're comfortable with uranium. But how have you found that process? Has it been
Yeah.
easy or easier than expected?
Yeah. It's been fine, I would say. Yeah, easier than expected. Definitely, they are strict. They want to see that you've thought about everything and done all your archaeological and wildlife surveys, and you interact with them, respond to their concerns, etc. And but it's been fine, especially because we've been advised as to what how long things are going to take, what's required, and we've just responded to those things head on, and then our expectations are just whatever we've been told, however long things are going to take. They have taken exactly that length of time. So it's just planning.
Yeah. Okay. It's been a
No
kind of funny old
unexpected
year.
problems.
No unexpected. It doesn't seem like it. It seems to be
Yep.
gentle, smooth sailing. That's
We did.
as a follower of yours and a kind of reader of yours, it's, and given how fresh this is a new thing. This is a
Yeah.
new idea. It's been sort of pleasant surprise.
Could I mention, first of all, our team is really strong. George Funderwalt, our geologist, is excellent, and so he's a fantastic geologist. But in terms of planning and organizing the work, he's absolutely first rate. Our other technical advisors, Jim Davis, Doug Christofferson, have vast experience, and in Jim's case, he worked at Copper Mountain for a long time. So, the planning around those things, our technical work is great. We have other strong people that are giving us a lot of input, and then BRS Engineering in Riverton. A lot of the companies in Wyoming work with BRS. They're local. They're really smart. A lot of experience interacting with the regulators, et cetera. They're helping us too. So we have, everything is in place. Plus, we're all, I don't want to say old, but experienced. I've worked all over the world trying to advance these types of projects. That helps, all that experience. And Simon Clark, who's our new chair,
Yep.
tons of experience. The rest
Good
of our
guy.
board, good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the people that are there helping. Can we just talk about all of this in the context of the heat market dynamics at the moment? It's been a kind of you've kind of had a good year. Shares have really moved, and anyone who kind of got in there has done well. And I suspect if they come in now, they'll do well. It's been a funny year. You've got all of the kind of Russia sanctions stuff. You kind of got Russia then kind of coming back and say, well, okay, we're going to now not give you the enriched uranium that we
Yeah.
are able to, but we're not going to do that for you. We've seen lots of supply move east. We've seen lots of supply just continue to be distressed in terms of those kind of restarts aren't happening. You look at Paladin not able to do their thing. Wyoming company Peninsula Energy also
Yeah,
delayed yet again
yeah,
on their
reducing their
project.
targeted production too. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it's really tough out there. So, but there are also some spotlights. You know, people like Encore, people like Your Energy
Yeah,
Fields are are producing. They are
yeah,
getting on with these things. So it's mining's tough.
yeah.
It's not easy, and thank the Lord, you guys are far away from having to talk about those sorts of things, production. But how, you must be you're clearly conscious of all of that. You're conscious
Yeah.
of the where the market's going, the cost of money when you raise it, and the fact there's lots of noise out there as well. So how do you view the market over the next 12 months? Because that's going to inform how
It is.
maybe you perform.
It's going to inform that. It actually, I mean, looking over the curvature around the corners, we're trying to figure out, it informs our strategy, how to approach this too. I just want to mention, uh, we pivoted away from Niger 14 months ago, as many of your viewers know. We were there, and that's obviously difficult jurisdiction, and we're all delighted. I mean, what's the best jurisdiction that you could possibly go to? Let's go there. Uh, we were in Niger. Let's go to the very best possible jurisdiction. We've done that, and we're so happy. As you can imagine, behind the scenes, because we have this big historical resource and lots of upside potential, and we're right in the middle of Wyoming, the best jurisdiction, definitely getting lots of attention. You mentioned lots of names there, and others. They're having the same thought too. Russia, utilities, U.S. utilities, tech companies, etc. Where are they going to look inside the United States, and where, ideally, in the very best states? Wyoming is right at the top. So all these things, we look at, and of course, we talk to all the people, the market participants, and there's all the quiet conversations. Decide what's really going on. Are utilities really out? Publicly, they're not buying in the spot that much, and the spot price, it's actually quite disconnected from the long-term contracting price, right? And even the long-term contracting price we're seeing is really the lowest of what's going on out there. It's so we understand the Russia Ukraine geopolitics, Trump coming in. Not sure what that means exactly. People have their views and that sort of thing for the market. What utilities are going to have to do in terms of securing long-term supply? They're going to have to keep moving down the stack, aren't they, to get to companies like ours to looking ahead.
Well, I think that's the problem here. And people are starting to wake up to the fact that the supply numbers are not as advertised, right? That's from people who should know better. I'm going to point to Paladin long and hard all day on that. If they can't deliver, it's going to get a little bit harder for everyone else who kind of sits below them, right? But for you guys sitting down the Explore Co thing, you're going to be like it is for gold, like it is for silver, like it is for copper. The big guys are going to have to look, upstream and find places where they can kind of backfill either the valuation, backfill their resource and reserve numbers, and that's one type of setup. And I think what you've described today is well, maybe we've got the ability to look at building something like a standalone operation here. Yep. And or wrap it up in a tiny little bow for those majors who may want to come in at a future date.
Yeah. Well, that's it. The roll-ups can go different ways too, right? We could engage in our own, 1 + 1 + 1 = 6 kind of thing, or 7. We could do that. Or you've mentioned a whole bunch of companies, many of which are in Wyoming. Maybe they want to engage in a roll-up, because then the utilities will come to them. They'll be much bigger and stronger, instead of 600 or 700 million market cap or whatever, whatever the numbers are. Maybe they'll roll companies up, be multi-billion, and have a lot more to offer utilities and things like that. So these roll-ups could go in different directions.
They can. I think my hope for the industry is that we stop seeing the roll-ups for the sake of roll-up game, which we're saying. There needs to be some action, guys. There needs to be some actual genuine production, some actual supply, because the US needs it, the West needs it. I think that whole Kazakhstan, Russia, China, and that everything heading east is getting their getting their thing. I was going to say a rude word. Getting their things together
Yeah,
as they should, whereas the West seems a little bit more discombobulated at the moment.
you know,
Nice talk. Let's see some action.
if I think you'll recall, and some of your viewers know that I've lived and worked in Russia
Yeah.
and former Soviet Union. I many years there. Speaks sort of to the extent you can speak Russian if you weren't brought up. I'm close with. I really think the Kazakhstan, the Russia-China squeeze of Kazakhstan, and what's going to happen there is, well, everybody's seeing it now. I've been saying this for a year or two, but it's going to get a lot worse than, and it really is going to bifurcate here. Everything in the world, and there's going to be two zones, and we're not in that one. So things are going to get tight. All over the
Exciting.
place.
I think it's great. I think it's great. Like, and that's why people, when we'll be talking about the geopolitics for the last 5 years, those sorts of moves are the things that actually drive
Yeah,
the thematic, drive the market, and will drive price as the reality set in. I think utilities playing that
gravity
game.
will take hold. Yeah,
Gravity will take hold
it
in the
will.
worst possible way,
Coming.
but good for investors. Maybe not so good for
Yeah,
energy requirements, because again, it's one of those cases with again coming back to that supply thing. It's like if there's only X amount of supply, but demand is two X, that means that some people are, and I'm not talking east west about it, I'm just talking about west here. The West is like, you've either got the ability to pay the price that's being asked for nuclear. It's a complete seller's market,
yeah,
or you have to rely on gas, oil, or your renewables. That's the way this is going to go. We need more energy all of the time, and that's just not what I think the West is going to gear
question.
up for at the moment. There's no plan B, I think the
Yeah.
phrase is.
Did I mention
Yeah.
these forces you're talking about? So supply demand, bifurcation, what the other companies are dealing with that are having production issues, the fact that everybody wants more because looking ahead, if you have vast resources, that's going to really the market will come to you to get them eventually. That has attracted to our. So I'm coming to is our cap table. We have really good investors who've taken hard looks at us, dug into our data room, interacted with us over the period, over months, who have, really good investors who've come in, well-known investors, funds. Some of your viewers know this, but the funds have come down from their high minimums in terms of market cap, et cetera, to invest in us, because I think they see what we're building here, and all the forces at work, plus our project that we've got at Copper Mountain is exciting. So I just wanted to mention our cap table. It's very strong, and we're going to have, adding more, high value strategic investors and things like that. They're coming.
I get it. I get it. I think as again from outside, I'm sort of sitting and sort of seeing the build up of the team, the quality of the team that you're putting together, the advisors that you're putting together, and getting, I say, this validation word, which we've maybe abused a little bit on this call, but I'm saying it's not just data, it's people who were there, and you're starting to get a little bit more confident about it. So, yeah.
Please, viewers, take a look at our recent drilling news releases, especially the one that's just coming out right now as we're speaking, because we really are going beyond what Union Pacific found too, which is very cool. So I want to get that in there so people take a look. That's interesting stuff.
Okay, Tom. Well, look, Tom, all I've got to say is spasibo.
Спасибо, yeah. Пожалуйста, yeah. С удовольствием, with pleasure.